Hey, speaking of dancing, one of the guys that I enjoyed seeing strut that ass around the ring back in the day, because it was heat, brother, was the Freebirds. And they innovated the Freebird rule. We even saw New Day do that not too terribly long ago. Hey, it's going to be any combination of these three. It's going to be, two of these fellows. But you grew up on the Freebirds. I mean, that's something that you held in really, really high regard as a Texas guy. What was it about the Freebirds that worked so well as a team?
To this day, if you mention the word Freebird in Texas, people know exactly who you're talking about. I was at the country club the other day down in Athens, Texas, a little small town where my mother lives. And I said something about somebody, and the guy says, yeah, man, that guy's a big star like a Von Erich. Von Erichs hadn't been around for 30 years. Now the movie was about to come out at the time, but still, that's how the Freebirds and Von Erichs were. The kids debuted. I'm talking about the kids, Kerry, Kevin, and David. And business was pretty good. Business didn't get hot till Michael showed up. And when Michael showed up, man, things went through the roof. It was unbelievable. I've stood in the ring when Bad Street's playing, and Michael Hayes is doing that silly strut coming down the aisle, and I'm sitting there thinking I could die right now. I'm in heaven. There was nothing like the Freebirds. Michael, famously put 1 million people in the down in Louisiana Superdome with Junkyard Dog. Michael was. I don't know why Michael got out of the business so quick. He was really young and didn't stay in it that long. Michael, what a great team. You had Gordy who could freaking go. And most of the stuff I've copied in my wrestling was from Gordy. Then you had either Jimmy Jam or you had Buddy, who were just massive heat getters. It was a perfect team.
I got to ask, you ever have any less than favorable interactions with Michael Hayes? Because allegedly, maybe when he has a little bit of that firewater in him, he can entertain himself in interesting ways that don't always work out in your favor.
Well, I was certainly there at the wedding when Linda took the microphone from him at Stephanie's wedding. I was certainly there for that. And I've never been more proud of Michael in my life. When he told Kurt Angle, who have you beat? Actually, quote on the microphone, who the fuck have you beat? In front of all these, wrestlers was one thing, but all the other side of the family members was, I don't think found that too funny. So, yes, I've had some great interactions with Michael Hayes. He's certifiably crazy. I mean, certifiably crazy. I've called him sometimes. I go, hey, do you know so-and-so? Oh, yeah, and he's got some story. It's one of the craziest stories ever heard. He told us a story about moonwalking down in Lake Charles one time. He got hit with a ceiling fan, and then he ended up waking up with Jimmy Garvin in bed naked. And he just told me the story. I'm going, wait a minute. Aren't you glossing over a few things here that you just like this is normal? He goes, well, as a Freebird night, as a Freebird is what we do. Freebird.
Isn't there a story where you were wrestling with the Freebirds the night before your wedding?
100%. I was supposed to have a loser leaves town match against the Freebirds. And the deal was I just signed a deal with Otto Vance. So I was going over to Europe to wrestle for 6 months. Exactly. So I loser leaves town. Well, it was supposed to be the night before. I'm sorry, the week before. Instead, it got moved up to the night before I got married. And so John Busing, my old college roommate, a bunch of guys were, my groomsmen. And so they're all saying, hey, you got to work with the Freebirds tonight. They didn't say work. They said wrestle Freebirds tonight. Loser leaves town. Bass Street match. Yeah. So he's a cop. He ran over a stop sign. And so I could take something to the ring to hit Michael with. So I've got this stop sign in the back of the truck that I'm lugging into the Sportatorium. And I got all my college roommates out there. Well, Michael knows that I've got to have wedding pictures the next day. So he and Gordy, I think Gordy was there. They spend the whole match trying to bust me open so that I can't take wedding pictures. And finally, they got my nose and busted my nose. I got these big black eyes for my wedding photos. They thought it was the funniest thing ever to ruin my wedding.
Yeah, what a sentence. I'm sure everybody was thrilled when you had to deal with that. I do want to ask you.
And I will tell you this, Michael, I came back. I would go over to Europe, and loser leaves town. So I go over to Europe, and I blow out my knee in Vienna, and I have to come home. I can't work. And so I come home, and I call Akbar. I said, Ak, I need to work. I don't have any money. And he goes, okay, tell you what we'll do, kid. We'll do the old Midnight Rider gimmick. We're going to put a mask on you, but with all the old John Hawk outfit on. So I had the vest on. I had the boots. I had boots that said Hawk on them, but I wore a mask, and it was, not supposed to be me because I'm loser leaves town. Well, anyway, we're in some spot show somewhere in a high school gym and we're working with the Freebirds. Now I'm not working because I got the bad knee. Akbar's just giving me a payday. So at the end of the show, I've got my crutches because I've got this busted leg, and I'm going back to the shower, and I see Michael and I think Gordy in there, and they leave, and they're kind of laughing. I thought, man, this doesn't end well. I don't know what's going to happen. This doesn't end well. So I'm back there on this wet floor, naked. God. My towel's somewhere outside, and in the shower. All of a sudden, all the lights in the building go off. They found the main switch. Now I'm in a labyrinth in this high school. I can't find my way out. So I finally find my towel. It's so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. And I'm there on a busted wheel, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to get out of this thing. I end up like in the social security, the social studies room. I end up in the English room. It took me forever to get out of that freaking high school. So then later, I had Michael in Buffalo with the Hardys. And I came back. He goes, "You think you could kick me any harder?" I said, "Michael, I kicked you so hard a 20-year-old 8-ball popped up."
Oh, God. What a great.
I said, "I wonder why I kicked you, Michael. I really wonder why I kicked you." He goes, "Well, I deserve that. I deserve that. I know I deserve that." Michael, and by the way, Michael would just pee on you. I mean, just pee on you. I mean, just pee on you. He wore Zubaz, and he was notorious for just like peeing on you. A buddy one time climbed into a ceiling and was going to pee on, I think it's Missy Hyatt out of the roof in the bathroom. There was no payoff for it. It was just the Freebirds were nuts. I dropped them off one time, me, him, and Dutch Mantell. And Dutch said, Michael said, I rolled and knocked on the window. Middle of the day, and we've had a little drink. Knocked on the window. Dutch rolls down the window. Michael just sticks his unit in and starts peeing on us.
Now, I've heard that story from Dr. Tom Prichard's story, from his perspective, because I think Dr. Tom, maybe this is a different story, but Dr. Tom tells me that once upon a time, he was driving, and Michael Hayes comes over, knocks on Dutch's window. Dutch rolls the window down. Wherever they are, they're settling in. So Dr. Tom has put the car in park and pulls the key out of the ignition. The car's off now. And just as you said, Michael starts peeing on to Dutch. Dutch is trying to roll the window up, but of course it won't roll up because the car is off. And Dr. Tom is fumbling to get the key. Finally gets the key and gets the car started once Michael's finished urinating all over Dutch.
Now I'm not going to dispute Dr. Tom, but I think the thing happened with me driving is what I think it happened.
Okay.
I believe, because I remember the story with me driving. Now, maybe I was in the back seat. So I'm not going to dispute Tom. You know,
maybe I was drinking and you told me the story, and I thought Dr. Tom did. That's probably likely. But you were there, that was your story.
All of that's true. He pee all over Dutch. Dutch's like, "Oh goddamn! Oh goddamn! Oh goddamn!" And he's fumbling for the window, like, "Oh goddamn!" And Michael just peeing all over everybody in the car, and it's like splattering all over me too. But it's it's kind of like funny. So it's like it's funny to get peed on. I'm not sure why that's funny, but it's probably something wrong with all of us. Then Michael goes into the hotel and he pulls down his Zubaz to his ankles and spreads his butt cheeks. There are people everywhere. He just mooning us. And
I don't think you're supposed to be spreading your butt cheeks in public. I think there's a rule.
I don't think you are. I think there's something like significantly wrong with that.
I think it's even in the Holiday Inn manual, like if you were to just look at their best practices, not letting patrons spread their butt cheeks in the lobby, it's probably on the list.